All right, welcome to the Water and Sewer Commissioner meeting for Monday, July 6th. We don't have any public participation, or I believe we have phones that you can call in on, but I don't think we have any. So we'll go to billing issues. Steve, do you have any billing issues?
Not at this time.
Okay, all right, so then we go to resolutions. Approval of the Water and Sewer Board meeting minutes. I don't know what the date was.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes?
Okay, the warrant. Are there questions on the warrant?
I got two questions. Whittemore, your audit, they charged us $7,000 for the water and then
Thanks, Larry.
$7,000 in the sewer too?
This is for the audit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a, maybe you can find a cheaper place. That's a lot of money, but I don't know what's typical, you know.
That's
It's pretty much typical.
It's
Yeah.
pretty typical, and that's been, just silence. That's been kind of in that ballpark for a number of years, slowly climbing. I think, about 10 years ago, it was probably 6,000 per fund,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And on page 11, CT Mail Associates roof evaluation. They didn't do that before. The roof has been done for a while.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't see where he's looking to see, but is it the rec center roof that was going under engineering?
Yeah, but it shouldn't be on the water and sewer warrant.
Mike called me about that, and it was put under engineering study line, or into that budget.
That was, yeah.
Well, you know,
We have to make an adjustment.
I don't question it, but you can prove it.
It's probably
Steve,
under.
you want me to go into the file and pull this out and see
Yeah.
what it's for?
Well, you don't have to
Yeah.
do that.
We can do that. Yeah. So let's pull that one out and make sure that it's coded correctly. Because CT Mail is doing a couple different things for us.
Okay.
One thing that they worked on was the Henry Street study. And the other thing that they worked on was a further evaluation of the Public Works building.
Okay.
It should be under a different line for sure.
Yeah. But
So we'll table that for
Yeah.
discussion and we'll come back to it.
You got a question? What happened to the backcount truck? I mean, you spent about $6,000 on that.
VACCON truck, I think it was repairs to the suction header on it. Is that right?
It was the motor on the, what did you say, Steve?
The VACCON truck. We had some repairs done on that.
Yeah, the motor on the actual vacuum wear and tear, that was like 2,500. Then we had our annual maintenance on it.
Okay.
But it wasn't under warranty?
Now it's like 27 months old.
Is it that old already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we also did some welding repairs, I think, on the snorkel.
We did welding repairs in-house on the snorkel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys are using a lot more than the previous years, so
Yeah.
it's gonna require
I
some
didn't
maintenance.
realize about it. No.
I talked to the manufacturer rep and tried to get under warranty, but it was 5 months, 3 months out of warranty and.
Yeah.
That's, on page 19, there's a, HVAC replacement. And this building, these are new, aren't they?
Not all the units were new.
Okay.
We had replaced a few along the way. We had put a split air conditioning system in for the control room in the solids building a few years ago, and then we had also replaced the units on the prelim building and the primary pump house. Those were not in that most latest contract. And but actually, when I'm looking at this was a charge against that contract, I'm sorry, on JK, which was the roof replacement.
So that was part of the other project?
Yeah. And, okay, so there's another thing that we did, and that was, we're working on the control systems to integrate the new units with our SCADA system.
Right.
I believe that's what that charge was. Some parts for that.
I'm good.
Okay, so we'll table that until we get the answer on the CT.
Do you wanna approve it for everyone else to get paid, with the exception of that one item, or you want?
Why don't we wait until Larry comes?
Oh, you could do it tonight, okay, nice.
Yeah, Larry's gonna
All
check
the other
it.
vendors to get paid.
We can discuss it, so we'll go to the award of the bid for mowing of the stands in the landfill.
That's along the same lines as what we normally say anyway, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the same group.
Yep, and,
Do you recall?
they've been doing a good job for us and been, responsive to our needs. So, even though we had just the one bidder, I don't have any qualms about awarding it to them,
Okay.
recommending award to them.
I'll move that motion to award the bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, up for discussion, the Dix Avenue Preservation Water Sewer Betterment's bid.
Um,
Yeah, that was the DPW roof and structural evaluation.
Yeah.
8,315.
Is for what?
Public Works
DPW.
garage.
Okay, so that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
So let's go back, we'll approve the, warrant, what we were asked to, pay that less than that figure, and we'll have to find the right line that goes into.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So,
So motion approved with the adjustment.
yeah, fine.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you already did that. I thought you did it.
Oh, yeah, now we did.
Yeah.
Now we,
So now we'll go on to, the Dix Avenue Preservation Water Sewer Betterment.
We received bids on this, and, they came in considerably over budget. Overall to the tune of about $1 million. We asked Creighton Manning, the consulting engineers, to interview both the two bidders and also other people who usually bid our work who did not. And the general consensus was that because the bid was delayed, waiting for approval to bid from DOT, undoubtedly related to the current pandemic, the compressed schedule was a major item of concern for the contractors. And they felt that in order to meet a schedule of completing that work this year would be very difficult and would probably involve some winter work. So they also expressed some concerns about the need to maintain the flow of traffic without detouring around the area. So I conveyed this information to the mayor, and he recommended that, well, I recommended and he accepted it, that we rebid the project with a completion date next year.
So we didn't know if we could do that and still get the funding from the federal government, but we did have Creighton Manning check out.
Yeah.
Because we actually were supposed to do this project last year, so because of what's happening with COVID and so on. So we did reach out to Creighton Manning, which reached out to the government, and we will be able to push it till next year, so. It's a positive in one way, and, you know, as Steve was referring to, is a lot of the companies, they usually would bid on it, did not bid, and, we just think there's a lot of work sitting out there, and that's what's going on, you know, they're gonna take the cream of the crop right now, so we're gonna wait and probably push it till next year.
Yeah.
You're gonna start next year too. right?
No, we'll start this year.
We're gonna try to get the water and sewer part of it
Oh.
done to some extent. And Steve, you wanna talk about what the main part of that is, the valves?
Yeah, well, water and sewer, we got a couple different things. Where we wanna replace some 4-inch unlined cast iron from Ridge Street, heading west to about, is that Orchard Street, I think, right? Is that right?
That's east, but.
I'm sorry, east, I mean. No, I mean to, I think the area of, Sagamore. Sagamore Walnut. And then we hope to replace some 6-inch pipe going further out. But that was a bid alternate. Most importantly though, we wanna replace the valving in the intersections. We have a lot of trouble when we have water main breaks, getting a quick and efficient shutdown without putting a lot of different customers out of water. And since there's a main transmission line, a 12-inch line that comes down and comes through this area, what we wanna do is we wanna make sure we have good shut-off valves in that area so that we can quickly isolate parts of the city when we have a water main break. And what we're planning to do is, in those intersections, cut in 8-inch valves and extend the pipe as 8-inch pipe outside of the right-of-way at Dix Avenue, so that if we want to replace a smaller water main on one of the side streets, we don't need to tear up the main road there. So that's pretty cool. And for sewer, we're looking at some pipelining and some drainage improvements. And hopefully we'll get some better prices on this next go around.
Okay, thank you.
So
So the completion will be about a year from now?
yeah,
Give or take?
about that. We're shooting for sometime in June of 2021. And that'll be all cleaned up, paved up, ready for next year's hopefully crowd of healthy tourists.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, the next is the Henry Street improvements.
So the Henry Street project has been moving along, and we've done a lot of field work, and CT Mail is doing that. And they've prepared a conceptual set of plans at 30%, and they've given that to us for review. I haven't finished my review yet. Did you take a good look at that yet?
Briefly, but I'd like to revisit that.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll be able to comment further on where we are at that at the next workshop meeting. So that's been pretty good. Any,
Are we gonna run into the same issue with contractors and, you suppose?
well, we're actually planning on starting that construction work. Well, We may, depending on how we bid it. And that's a strategic decision we'll make once the design is complete and approved. But I'm thinking that it's probably a spring 2021 start on that, most of that work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a good time of year to bid it as we get into the fall. People are lining up their work for the fall.
I gotta take a phone call, so we can continue.
The Maple and Walnut sewer separation project. MJ Engineering is doing their field work for that. They've installed 4 sewer flow meters. And what we're trying to do there is isolate and track peak flows during storms. And make sure that the design, you know, really hones in on that and addresses those issues efficiently. We have had some really good storms, so we should have some good data from those flow meters.
Great. Is that why National Grid has been digging over there in preparation for this project? Is it?
Since we're gonna be working in the area, we're asking National Grid, we try to coordinate, and we're asking them to get done what they can, so that, we can, as quickly as possible, get through that area and not tear it up repeatedly. Which is, better for residents and stuff. Okay. Well, Jeremy, has MJ given us any indication of when they're going to give us a preliminary set of plans?
I would expect to see something over the next couple of weeks. You know, just last week they installed the 4th flow meter and we're extracting flow data from the other 3. So
The actual complete engineering report is due in September.
yes. Yes,
So.
yes, exactly.
And then the gravity I&I study, that was awarded to Arcadis. And we're also putting some flow meters in there. And this is working out well actually because we've got those 2 projects going on at the same time. So hopefully we'll be able to use data from both projects to get a really good picture of where the trouble areas are in the sewer system. So a little bit of serendipity there that these things ended up, you know, overlapping. And Arcadis is also reviewing mapping and looking at aerial photos and trying to determine what areas we need to focus in on to try and get a good return on investment as we do our sewer improvements. Okay. Elm Street parking lot. We say progressing as planned. Pretty close. We had hoped to do some green infrastructure, some stormwater infiltration basins along the alleyway between Glen Street and the parking lot. But when we got into the ground there, we found out that the utilities, the electrical utilities and the gas were much closer together, and it wasn't going to be possible to do that there. So we had to drop back off of that and just go with some stormwater inlets. And but we're working our way through the rest of the project, and I'm anticipating that it should be substantially complete sometime in mid-August.
What about the drainage from the business roofs, all the roofs that are lining the Elm Street parking lot?
The architect's building, they've already separated their roof drainage, and they're tying it in. The building that the bank bought, which was formerly, I think, Auchenbach's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's gonna be tied into the stormwater system. In fact, I think it already is. It's temporarily tied into an existing catch basin, which we're replacing right now. So we're catching some of them, but not all of them.
Mhm.
It's something that we don't really have a good way to mandate that happen.
Right.
Whenever a building's under renovation, we try to be as persuasive as possible with the building owners to convince them it's a good idea to separate their roof drainage from their wastewater drainage.
Thank you.
So we're picking some of it up, but not all of it.
Right.
We had the outlet pipe, not the low level outlet, but the water supply outlet pipe from the Wilkie Dam had a leaky joint in it, where some pipe had, I think, settled a little bit and pulled apart slightly. And we needed to repair that because we could not use our normal way of releasing water from that dam, which is that outlet pipe. We were able to use the water by using our low-level outlet pipe, which is a second line that comes out of the reservoir. But, you know, that's not what that's intended for. That's an emergency drain. So we made a trenchless repair. And the company that did it, what was the name of the company?
Precision Industrial Maintenance.
Yeah, Precision Industrial Maintenance. They struggled a bit and had a little trouble getting a liner in there properly positioned and installed, but they did succeed after a couple of tries. And that's back in service without the need to excavate the dam, acquire a dam safety permit for the dam modifications from DEC and all that stuff that's associated with it. I think we probably would have spent as much in permitting it as we did in doing it this way. So that was a successful job. And sure as everybody came in, you saw that we have safety protocols, wait here, sign in here, hand sanitizer, all that. And we're carrying on with that, trying to minimize social contact and protect our staff. And so far, we've been doing okay.
Thank you. So anything under personnel?
No, right now we're
I'm good with that.
pretty much staffed up,
Okay, good.
doing well with the people we have. I think no major issues,
Great,
but they are people.
yes. Peter, you have something?
Yeah, I've got a question on last, workshop.
Yeah.
What's the implication of, wastewater testing like that?
Well, we're working with Syracuse University, who's also working with the New York State Department of Health, and the health department is trying to pull together a program to help track the spread of COVID-19 in the population using wastewater sampling. So at our facility, we can take samples from sewage coming in from Queensbury, sewage coming in from South Glens Falls, and our own influent. And from that, we can analyze for the RNA from the virus.
That's a new one for me. What's on our name?
Ribonucleic acid.
That's
It's-
what I thought.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of like a viral DNA, if you will.
Gotcha.
And it's not an actual viable virus in the wastewater, but we can tell that this is from viruses that are shed by people in their waste products that get into the sewer system. And the data showed that we had some cases, and then that it dropped off. And Syracuse University and the health department are working to tie this together. So we're participating by doing some of the sampling there. And we'll see if we get any kind of a pickup in the number of cases we have as people are traveling more in the summer. But it should be a tool that's useful for local health departments to see
Any
if they're-
movement on the negotiations with Moreau?
We haven't heard from them. I think the whole COVID thing has just
Yeah, that's.
put the screeching halt on everybody with revenue, and so, the last time we touched base with them, I think the last time was we said we'd accommodate their, request for additional capacity when they wanted it, and just let us know when you want capacity. We've not heard back from them. So that's where we are.
Yeah, I think that project's in trouble myself. It's just me.
So we're just kinda,
You wanna stick with the wait and see attitude, position on this?
well, I mean,
And
if
we
there was,
reached out to them.
if there was somebody else knocking at the door to buy up all the capacity, then we would have to push them harder, but there really isn't at this point.
So they haven't tied it up, they just made inquiries about it.
No, they haven't tied it up. What they were trying to do is, if you remember, there was an addendum or an agreement that they signed back in 2012 where they were gonna purchase huge amounts of capacity in either increments or in the aggregate. And under that agreement, they could still, in theory, purchase it in the aggregate, but I think it was gonna be like, was it $3 or $4 million that they would have to pay all in one lump sum here by the close of 2021. So that's why they came back and said, well, we don't need all that capacity, can we get smaller chunks of it? And, we explained, yes, but you don't get the rate that's in that agreement. And they didn't like that, and I think now they understand that was kind of a one-time deal back in 2012 with how much they said they were gonna purchase, discount, volume discount. But now with what they're looking at, the last time we met with them, we said, here's the formula that we're gonna use, and you'll have to buy it based on that formula, as that may increase each time you come back and want more.
Right.
So we said, as long as we've got it, we'll sell it to you, but you're not gonna lock a rate.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
Thank you. Hey, how about trespassing, we doing anything with, I haven't noticed as many cars around, doesn't seem so.
Actually, I ran into somebody over the weekend who said he used to trespass up there, but they've been kind of jerks throwing people out, he said to me, and I said, well, actually, I'm the jerk.
That would be me.
And when I move to Warren County, that'll be one of my new neighbors.
There you go.
But we are having problems. We've been pushing it, and we recently ticketed some people who were riding dirt bikes up in the watershed property. We found some areas where there were some fires, and I contacted the sheriff and asked them to please try and make sure they check those areas out. It's not a problem that's solved. It's a problem that we just have to keep on top of, and with a lot of people still not working and summertime upon us, I'm afraid our watershed property presents a powerful lure for them. we're keeping at it.
I just don't see the amount of cars parked
No.
around there that were, maybe finally kick it in a little bit.
Yeah, and, Sheriff's Department is helping us out.
Yeah, I think so. Is there, any, do we need an executive session?
I don't have anything.
All right, next, proposed meeting date is workshop on the 20th at 2 p.m. here. And the next regular sewer board meeting will be August 3rd at 6 p.m.
You wanna have it at 6?
So, that's up to you guys. You wanna go 2?
It says 2 on the thing.
I'd like to, Brian.
We'll go 2.
Mine says
That's
2.
that's just me, I don't.
Mine says 6 here. You got 2 on yours. So, we're going at 2.
Okay, I like that.
So, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.